So you're joining me in a Sint in the north of Scotland today. And whilst it's been raining all day, as usually happens after you get a bit of rain, well, you get a bit of sunshine as well. It's incredibly boggy here. Very nice area. That's Stack Polly behind me, but I don't want to be too close to it, so I'm just walking. I found a little footpath going away from it. I'm just following that. It's just been so boggy and difficult, but at the same time I feel like I'm making some progress towards somewhere, because this footpath is definitely going towards something. I've just got to pay attention to what I'm doing with it and I might get somewhere. It's beautiful. I'm not going to fixate on one shot as well. It's easy to do that, you know, and just think, oh, I want that shot of that mountain behind me, and then miss the stuff that's going on, because the sun is over on that direction at the moment, but I've got time yet before the sun sets. So the thing right now is to try and find somewhere interesting and see if I find any different compositions. I don't really know where this is going, this path though, so we'll have to see. Really not sure that that's strong enough to hold me. I don't think so. I'm just going to carry on down here. And the only thing to do with that would probably jump it. It looks totally rotten. Oh, look what I found here. You see what I'm seeing is that island there in the middle. I'm going to say that they're bonsai trees. They're probably just bushes. In my head, I'm pretending they're bonsai trees because they're just growing on that little bit of rock. The roots are restricted, so they've grown small. Maybe they are a little bit smaller. Got the same plants over here and they look a bit bigger. At the moment, the sun's setting over to that side, to the right. And I think that means that I'd like to be shooting towards that slightly, but I don't want to get sort of lost in that. It's about, for me, the most important thing is finding a good composition right now, because the lighting looks really good. So yeah, I've got some time to play around, so I might just sort of skirt around here a bit. But I'm right at the water's edge and it's so boggy. I mean, sometimes my walking pole goes down like nearly a metre, and so it's just finding the right spots really to try and get a good viewpoint. I've got a little bit of time to play with, and I saw some photos on the way down and I could take them on the way back. At the moment I'm in composition hunting mode, and that's the thing, trying to find something. I'm slightly limited about where I can stand, so I'm going to try and go around here a bit and see if I see a better angle. So I've moved around a little bit, got a bit closer, and I don't know if you can see this over here. Look at these little beaches and things, and look, that could be a shot in itself, couldn't it? Just with that line going through there, maybe. And as I got to this little edge, what I've seen is the footpath comes around here. So I've got the camera set up on the tripod down here now. So for that shot, I'm at f9, 30th of a second ISO 100. Not going to bother with the timer at 30th of a second, it's not worth it. I'm going to do one picture with an exposure for the ground, which will be something like this. Yeah. And then I'm going to do one picture for the sky, which will be something like this. So what I'm hoping with that is that will give me the colour. I'll get some nice tones and so on. And I'll be able to get the highlight detail in the sky as well. And I'll get that detail in the ground. So I'm just going to take that as well. And I'll stick the exposures up on screen for you so you can see what they are. So the next shot I want to do is actually just behind me. So it's just here. What I actually want is that little bit of beach. So you can see what I mean. I'm just flipping it vertically, so you can see what my composition is. But that's essentially what I'm after. It's just that vertical like that. And if I tilt, you know that thing. If you tilt the lens, you can get a little bit more of an impression of it. But of like the height of the mountains. But they're bigger than this than you see in the picture. But I quite like this angle like this. I think it's pretty decent. I'm really tight on space at this point here. here, so I'm just gonna have to hand hold this and shoot it manually, but you've seen what the composition is. I've shown you in the video camera, but I'm not gonna set up the tripod for that. It's just a little bit too tricky. So this is one of the other compositions I'm going for. I'm just getting really low amongst the grass. You can see the line kind of from the light going through. I just think it gives a nice framing with the trees around here. You've got this nice framing, and then you've got the sunset in the background. So again, for me, it's going to be an exposure like this for the sky, and then another exposure, something like this for the ground. Just a bit further up the path, nice green rock in the foreground with some lichen on it, and a mountain in the background. So I'll show you what I'm going to do. I'll show you from the camera's perspective, like finding composition. You see, I can start off high, and then I look down and I see maybe I can fit the rock into a gap like this. Maybe I'll come in slightly closer. So we've got this slant of the tree here, which kind of fits in with the shape of the rock there. Anyway, I'm going to take the pictures like this. I'm going to take a picture of focusing on the rock here, and then one probably around there, and then I'll combine those two together, and my exposure is just going to be for the highlights, which will be something like this, and I'll give you the settings.
So for this last picture of Stack Poly, I'm just up in the car park. Really simple composition, just sticking it in the middle of the frame, and my exposure's f9, 4 seconds, and I'm using a 10-second timer. There's not much light at this stage, so I'm trying to make sure that I'm getting a good exposure, and I'm using my histogram on the back to check that I'm getting it right.